The first four se'ifim in Reish Tzadi Aleph, we discussed how do you become a shomer. A kinyan, his chayvus, an agreement. You have to both agree to be a shomer. It's not just that you have yena's thing by you. You have to actually go through a process of being makabel shmira. And then the question is, how much are you being makabel? How much are you being makabel? You're makabel kesef zav. That's what we spoke last week. And you have to make a kinyan. We spoke about machlokes Rambam Tosfos. Okay, so that's all about how to become a shomer. And we spoke about some geshmaka cases. You know, airport. Someone leaves something in your house, has a shalom zachar. All these types of things. Where are you really shmira to begin with? So now we're going to go. Now we're going to go into the next point of assuming that you did become a shomer. Assuming you taka became a shomer. So what is the nature of your chiyuv of shmira? And we're discussing specifically a shomer chinam. Shomer chinam is you're doing a favor for someone, and you're only chayiv for pshia, for negligence. You're not chayiv for geneva v'aveda, which is a little bit more of a higher level of an oinus. So you're chayiv for pshia, you're not chayiv for geneva v'aveda. So now the question becomes, what's the nature of the chiyuv? So there are a few very geshmaka gemaras. Again, we're going to talk about cases that sound like there's a mixture between pshia and oinus. So before we get to knowing if something's a pshia or an oinus, we first have to get to, or maybe not first, maybe we'll discuss that over time, but how much are you mechuyev to be shomer? So by a shomer chinam, we're going to go with the rule that you're chayiv to be shomer, chayiv on natre k'denatre inshi. You have to do what's normal. So the one's going to talk about a case. What happens if the guy went away for a lunch break, and when he went for a lunch break, a taka got stolen? So is that pshia or is that geneva v'aveda? Meaning he wasn't there. What are you not there for? Well, what do you mean I'm not there? Because I'm going on lunch break. Lunch break is normal. You're expecting me as a shomer chinam to do more than the normal shmir? Everyone goes for a lunch break, right? So is that enough or is that not enough? So we're going to see that, and the most important thing we're going to discuss for the next, it's in Shulchan Aruch. It's from Sif Hey all the way till Yud Beis, from Vav till Yud Beis, like 6-7 Sifim about Tchilasa b'Pshia v'Soifa b'Oinus. You started off, and you did a pshia, but your pshia did not end up causing the problem. It ended up being an oinus. You're chayiv or not chayiv. So, if you have a 5th grade or 6th grade son, this may come very handy, or 7th grade son, because maybe for some of us that's the last time we ever learned to mafkid. And chazer it with your son when you get a chance to learn it. But we'll see that these are very, very geshmaka sugyas. So, I want to spend today just learning the Gemara. We're going to learn a few Gemaras, and then we'll get into the halacha. So in the booklet, we start off on page Lamed Vav, Amud Aleph, Lamed Vav. That's not Lamed Vav, Amud Aleph. Where is it? No, why isn't that the way I thought it was? No, it's Mem Beis Amud Aleph. I'm sorry. Mem Beis Amud Aleph is the classical case that everything's gonna go back to that case. It's the first word on the line. It's page 19 in the booklet. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lines up from the bottom of the page. It's the first word on the line. Hahu Gavra. There was a person. Da'afkid Zuzi Gabe Chavre. He gave his friend money to watch as a shomer chinam. Oisvinu b'tzrifa d'orvani. He put it into some sort of straw hut, or something like that. Okay? And ignov, it got stolen. Now, Amar Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Yosef says, Aval gavdul inin ganvi nitirusahi. Really, I put it in a place that's relatively safe from ganovim. Ganovim don't check tzrifa d'orvanis for money. So therefore, as far as the ganavim are concerned, I put it in a very good place. I hid it in a pretty safe spot. But the problem is, There's always another concern, which is Aish, fire. Fire can also burn the money. So, Le'inyan Nura Pshiusei, when it comes to fire, it's a Pshia. So was I, right, let's say you buy a safe. So you could buy a safe that has that, like this. It's very low grade fire protection, right? So it doesn't really protect anything from fire, but you can't break into it. It's considered a very decent shmira for ganavim, right? Whenever you look in these safes, they always grade it by, how easy it is to break in and how much fire protection it has. That's not much this case. Shrifa Dorvin. So you put in a place that really lagabi fire, it's a pshia, but lagabi ganovim, it's a good shmira, and it didn't get burnt, it got stolen. So am I chayiv or not? So Zok the Gemara have a tchilosa b'pshia v'soifa b'oines v'chayiv. Your tchilosa b'pshia v'soifa b'oines is chayiv. V'ikadamri avagav del in the nura pshius. Now, what does that mean? You were paisheya on the item. And since you're paisheya on the item, you would think that you're chayiv. But then there was oinus. So is it pshia or is it oinus? So the Gemara says here that tchilasai b'pshia v'soifai b'oinus, right? You were paisheya, but the pshia is not what did it. What did it was an oinus. Chayiv, you're chayiv anyway. V'ika damri, and some say avagav d'le'inyan nura pshiusahi, even though it's a pshia for fire, b'le'inyan ganvi nitirusahi. But since l'gabi what happened, it's a good shmira. So what's the din? Tchilasa b'pshia v'soifa b'oines pater. What's the halacha of hilchasa tchilasa b'pshia v'soifa b'oines is chayiv. Okay. So talking about Shabbat, but it's true by Shabbat Sachar also. Just the level of tchilasa b'pshia could be different, but the concept is the same. So now I originally thought maybe the lumdus, right? What's the lumdus over here? Because at the end there was an oinus. At the end it got stolen in a place that should not have gotten stolen. I put it in a place that's theoretically considered safe when it comes to Geneva, and for some reason it got stolen anyway. So why is that why am I chayiv? I was shomer it from Geneva. Who cares that I was tchilasa b'pshia and something else? So originally I thought maybe the pshat is that really a shomer, once you're posheya, you're irresponsible, so memeli you're chayiv for the pshia really. Just normally, if nothing happened, I could return the item anyway. But here that I can't return it, so now I'm not really chayiv for the item, I'm really chayiv for the pshia. And I'm chayiv for the pshia, but I can't return the item, so memela I'm chayiv. But normally, if the item still is around, I could pay for it. But we're going to see that that's not the pshat, because the Nesivus says that you pay for the value of the item that it's worth at the time of the oinus, not the value of the item that it was worth at the time of the pshia. So if we are right that
what's the example?
The example is here where you put it into a place that's not safe from fire, so you're pashea klape eish, but it's got stolen and it was a good shmir from Geneva. So therefore, Lagabi, what happened? It was a oinus. So the Nesivus says that that's not pshat, because the Nesivus says you only pay the value of the item that it's worth at the time, or not only, but you pay the value of the item that it's worth at the time of the oinus. So it sounds like we're being machayiv you for the oinus. Normally you're potter for oinus. So I think that what has to happen is like this. This that a shomer chinam is potter on oinsim, you could really ask a question. I took your item, I told you, hey buddy, no problem, leave it with me. Hanach lefanai, and with all dinei shmira, and the guy says, this time the mafkid is the attorney, so he's like making sure that like he's protected. So he, use mikabel shmira, mikabel shamachinam, mishpatim, I got it, everything, fine. So I'm a shamachinam. Then, so now the guy was really mikabel on himself to be shomer your item, to provide a certain amount of shmira. So, Lamaisa, if an oinus happens, I trusted you. Why are you potter? The answer is because I did my chiyuv shmira. Something else happened. I'm not chayiv for everything. I was makayim my chiyuv shmira on the item. But I don't have a tur oinus if I wasn't makabel makayim my chiyuv shmira to begin with. I wasn't shomer the thing properly. Lamaisa, I wasn't shomer it properly. So now I come to you and I say, hey, where's my item? And you say, well, it's nanas. Okay, well, first, let's check the boxes. Did you do what you were supposed to? And then it says no, so you lost your Patur Oinus. So we're going to get to that.
But I'm saying that Svara doesn't, it's because that once I did something wrong and it led to the damage. It's not so much that, I'm not chayiv for the pshira, I'm not chayiv for the...
So you have to take it down one step further. And what you have to say is maybe this svara is also not a good svara because Lamaisa was nanas. Who says that I have to makayim? Let's say I fell asleep and it was nanas. So what? Lamaisa, I'm not chayiv for oinsin. I was never makabel on myself like we learned last week from the Ketzois. I wasn't makabel on myself a chiv on oinsin. So what you have to do is take it a step further and even say that when you have tchilas of pshia, and we're going to see in a minute that you're not chayiv in every case of tchilas of pshia. So there's only certain cases that you're chayiv. You have to be able to attribute the oinus to the pshia. And basically the lumdus is going to be is that since there's an oinus, even though an oinus happened, and normally oinus is not your fault, over here there's a way to say the oinus is your fault. It was an oinus, but you were pashea, and therefore the oinus is your fault, and therefore you're takachayiv for the oinus. Normally you're not chayiv. Now let's see how this plays out. So the Gemara before Lamed Vav Amud Beis. Okay, Itmar. Because you're takachayiv for the oinus, so therefore whatever the value of the item is at the oinus, you're chayiv for it.
So right, but the other way around. Sorry, why then see once it's approved that we cannot say?
Because if you're chayiv for the pshia, but you're really off the hook for the oinus, but you're chayiv only because you're a pashea, so really your obligation started already. Right when you're a pashea, you started the chiv. So I should only pay for the value of the item that was at the time of the pshia. And now I'm stuck because it was nanas. So that's not pshat, because then you would only have to pay the value of the item at the time of the pshia. So what we're trying to say is that you, because you're a pashea, and we can connect the dots, you become now chayiv for the oinus itself.
Your shmir wasn't a good shmir, but haraya.
Because let's get to you're getting ahead of yourself. I mean, we're about to catch up to you. Let's get there.
This case is a case where the Shia led to the...
So let's see the next Gemara and make the chilukim, okay? Because everything's about making the chilukim. The next Gemara is on Lamed Vav Amud Beis. The Gemara is by the two dots towards the top. Last word on the line. Itmar. Pasha ba. He was paishea in the shmir of a cow. How was he paishea? Rashi says he didn't lock the door. So he didn't lock the door and the animal got out. V'yotzasa la'agam. And it went out to a swampy area. Umeisa kedarka, and it died. It dropped dead out there in the agam. So I did a pshia by not watching it. But really what happened was an oinus. It just died. So is the shomer chayiv for that or not?
Yeah, in that case, chayiv.
So let's see. Abaye mishmei de Rabba, as machlokes Abaye and Rava. Abaye mishmei de Rabba amar chayiv. Rava mishmei de Rabba amar potter. Okay? So Abaye says chayiv, Rava says potter, they're both in the name of Rabba. Let's get the lumdus. Why? Abaye mishmei de Rabba amar chayiv. Called Daina de Loidoin ki Haidina Lav Dainu. I'm so confident in my psak that everybody has to hold like this. Of course, if you hold Tchilas B'Shiva Soifa B'Oines Chayiv, you're Chayiv. Ela afilu l'man damar Potter. Even if normally Tchilas B'Shiva Soifa B'Oines is Potter, Halcha Chayiv. Here you would be Chayiv. My taima de'amrin and havla de'agma kotla. It's not Soifa B'Oines. It's Soifa B'Shiva. Because you let it go to a place that because it's in that place it died. It went to a bad air, it got exposed to dangerous air, and the air killed it. So therefore it started off as pshia, and it ended off as pshia. So your pshia directly killed the animal. So Abaye holds your chayiv. Rava says you're potter. We paskin like Rava, so let's focus on Rava here for a minute. Rava mishmei de Rabba Omar Potter, called Daina deloy doyin ki agdina lav dainahu. I'm so confident in my psak that everybody has to hold my psak. They're both so confident in their psak. The loymi boy lamanda matchalas b'shiva seven is potter the potter. Obviously, if you're tchalas b'shiva seven is potter is potter. El feel lamanda machayev hacha potter. Here you're potter. What's pshat in Abaye? My timer, the Amrinan Malach Hamaves Mali Hacha Mali Hasam. Malach Hamaves Mali Hacha. Apparently, animals also get killed by the Malach Hamaves.
There's no such thing as
So-
Pshir.
There is such a thing as Pshia.
Malach HaMoses.
No. Hold on. If you feed the animal poison, then they killed it. But here, the animal dropped dead. Abaye doesn't attribute it to the air. Abaye says the time came. The animal's time had come. It fulfilled its mission on this world to be the subject of this sugya, and that was the tachlis of the animal. That there should be a whole sugya about him. So this animal fulfilled this tachlis in this bria, and the time came, and he died. So it had nothing to do with the pshia, because in other words, Abaye is saying if the time of the animal came and it died, and it's not because of the place that it was, it would have died had it stayed right here also. Because it's the Malach HaMavis, it's time. The animal's an older guy, and it dropped dead. So had it gone to the Agam, or had it stayed put, either way, it would have died at this exact moment. And therefore, according to Abaye, according to Rava, you're potter, because Malach HaMavis Mali Achim Mali Hasam. Now, what do you see from this Gemara? This is what David was saying earlier. What do you see from this Gemara? I thought we say Tchasa b'Pshia, v'Soifa b'Oines is Chayiv. So what's Abaye saying? It's an Oines. I know Malach HaMavis is an Oines. Not my fault, but I was Poshea. So here's the main Yisoid you see from this Gemara. You see from this Gemara Yisoid that in order to be Chayiv and Tchilasa b'Pshia v'Soifa b'Oines, it has to be that the Oines is related to the Pshia. It has to be some sort of connection. You have to connect the dots between the oinus and the pshia. It can't just be out of the blue and oinus happened. And two things. I was pshia and there's an oinus. No. It has to be that the oinus somehow only happened because of the pshia. So let's take the case of Tzrifa de Orvani. It got stolen. Now, Lamaisa, had I not put it in that safe that's not fireproof, it would not have gotten stolen from there. Because the Ganav happened to be checked over there. And that's a place that I put it. And I was Pashea for putting it there. So because I was Pashea, that happened. Had I left it in a fireproof place, maybe the Ganav wouldn't have checked there. And therefore the Oinus came because of what I was Pashea. If I locked the door and I left the door open and I went to a dangerous place and I got shot over there, so then it's my fault, because had it not been there, it wouldn't have gotten killed. But over here, if the oinus has nothing to do with the pshia, then you're off the hook.
They're still very different. This case with the cow, the pshia led directly to the animal dying in Abaye. The case of the money put in the hut, because you weren't shomer it left for the Aish, it left it available for it.
Well, that's why Abaye is saying that you're chayiv even if you'll normally potter, because it's taka more connected. Abaye is saying it's taka not part of the sugya of Yitzchak B'Shas of Moinus, because Abaye is saying that havla dagma katla, so therefore it's soifa b'pshia also. You're right. In Abaye, it's a lot more connected. All we need to say is, had you not been pasheh, would this have happened? That's the only question we have to answer. We don't have to answer the question of, well, maybe the Ganav would have taken it from a different fireproof safe. Okay, but that's not that.
No, but would Abaye be asking that that first case from the base is potter?
No.
No.
He would
Even
say
though
chayiv,
that's
because
different. It's not.
Abaye, what do you mean? Would he be masking? Abaye would say that sugya is totally in the machloikas to close the b'shev sefer is chayiv or potter.
But that's what the point I'm trying to make is that Abaye's case of the pshia leading to the onus is not the same as that case. That pshia didn't lead to the onus. The pshia made it available that a totally different onus could happen.
Correct, but that's why that sugya is a machloikas. And Abaye is saying this sugya is called dain deloy dainik daidin alav dainahu. Because over here, even if you hold potter, you're chayiv because it's directly related. I'm asking it's more related. Abaye also saying it's more related. Abaye is saying so much so it's more related that even if you hold potter there, you're chayiv here. But he doesn't mean to say that over there, the mandam or chayiv can't be mechayiv you. Okay? So we take out of this sugya, this yisoid, that in order to make tchilas b'pshia of sovev oines chayiv, it has to be that the oines is related to the pshia. So now let's this is what you were saying before. So now let's reevaluate the lumdus. If the lumdus is that we're just trying to mechayiv for the pshia, it wouldn't make sense. Either, like I was saying originally, you're chayiv for the pshia and just have to return the item, so why would it have to be related? Number one. Or number two is stam, you weren't mekayim your chayiv shmira. So now you're chayiv for the oinus. That's not true either. Really, the lumdus is that what we're saying is, the oinus is not really an oinus. Because since the oinus only happened because you were posheya, Mamela, right? Mamela, you lose your tinus oinus because we consider that to be part of your pshia, it's included in your pshia. So let's say, for example,
your shmir isn't a good shmir because since it didn't protect you from the pshia, so then even the oinus, it's not a good shmir. So Hagam, it wasn't an oinus. You didn't do a good shmir. You only protected if you did a good shmir.
Right.
You didn't do a good shmir.
So there's a case that happened. I don't know if it really happened, but it definitely could have happened. No, but someone told me about the case that someone went away, and they asked their neighbor, "We don't want to leave our car in our house." I'm not sure why not. Oh no, I think what happened was that they wanted to park their car. They were driving to the airport, and they have someone that lives near the airport, so they wanted to park their car by that person's house. And here's the keys. I'm just going to in a rush. I'm leaving the car, park it wherever it is, and so Lamaisa, they parked it like for temporarily. They had people. I don't know. They parked it like in the street, like in a bad spot, and things could happen and whatever. Lamaisa, it was under a coconut tree, and one of the coconuts fell down and smashed the dented the top of the car. So the coconut falling, pashtus is oinus. It's definitely Gneva Vaveda. It's definitely not Pshia. It's not common that those things happen. And therefore it was an oinus. But was he poishea for putting the car in a bad spot to begin with? What are you putting it in the middle of the street for?
Who was the he? The owner of the car?
No, the shomer. The owner was running to the airport. Here's my car. Here's my keys. Move it as you move it as needed. Move it as needed. No problem.
Put it underneath the tree.
So the shomer put it under the tree, which is not necessarily a pshia clapping the coconut,
Right.
but it was a pshia because it was a bad spot to begin with because it was like in the street.
Right.
It wasn't a good place to be. So,
It was in a no parking area.
but it is connected because had it not been there, it wouldn't have hit the coconut. The
Right.
coconut wouldn't have hit it. So it is connected. Stomach is chayiv. David, what are you talking about?
Depends if he moved it. Sorry, went to that. So, sorry,
Just because the tree was in the street.
Yeah, but that's the idea we're saying. Is as long as we can see a relationship that had you not been Pesheya, then the oinus would not have happened. That's the chor of this case. So you putting it in a place you have no business putting it because there's no parking area.
So if another car hit it, that's one thing. But
Then it's tchilas b'pshia v'soifay b'pshia. Now it's tchilas b'pshia v'soifay b'oinus.
the owners has no connection.
It does have a connection because on the yes parking areas there's no coconut trees.
You could have foreseen that.
And that's why it's soifay b'oinus.
That's that you were not completely.
What?
It's megale das that you were not completely aware of the whole situation that can happen.
Even if you're not aware, but you shouldn't have put it there. Lamaisa. Lamaisa, you're a pesheya because you shouldn't have put it there.
If you put it there and then an asteroid hits, and so you're a posheya for leaving it there, but an asteroid hit, doesn't have the idea of foreseeability? It's more foreseeable if you leave it under a coconut tree, and the coconuts are right, the coconut could fall down, and then an asteroid will hit.
You want to know if it's mamish and oinez gomer that you can't necessarily say came machmas l'pshia?
Right, because you could put it anywhere.
I'm not
an
sure.
asteroid could hit.
Yeah, but it could have, but it wouldn't have.
Rebbe's a kimta, oh, that's irrelevant.
Yeah, but it didn't.
Where you
After
parked
landed
it,
on the
it's
street, not
irrelevant
on my
whether there
driveway.
was
That's
a
no
coconut tree or not. You
foreseeability.
parked it in
Not
a place
foreseeability. I
that
just
in
didn't-
itself
I
was
just
the
didn't
shia.
know. I-
Right, but the pshia didn't bring mazik because he could have come an hour later and moved the car and it's fine.
I understand.
So if nothing had happened, he would be off
But
the
the
hook.
nexus is once he parked it there, so it's already in a poshea, right, position, right? So then either you say like David saying that's a pagam in the whole shmira itself, right? Or again, because there is a nexus. The nexus is that once you poshea, that anything that happens, whether an asteroid, whether a coconut, whether a scooter, a kid on a scooter hits it doesn't make a difference.
Right. I would assume that it doesn't make a difference, and according to what we're paskening, that tchilas b'pshia v'soifay b'oinus chayiv, I think you would be chayiv in this case. Okay? I think you would be chayiv in such a case. The only tzad, maybe not, is last sugya, which is maybe you never became a shemer to begin
So the
with.
difference in your case of an asteroid coming down on a coconut. A coconut, I think you could expect. An asteroid.
But I don't think it matters. The question is, does it matter? At the end of the day, if the asteroid hit, if it would have hit even the spots that were illegal, so then you're potter, because it has nothing to do with the pshia. But if it punked hit right over here, right? So then that's a different story. And I don't think we have to, by the way, even if after all the science videos you watch, I don't think we have to worry that asteroids are going to destroy the planet. Don't worry. So what?
They changed it. It said it's 3.3 now to 0.03.
Yeah, what?
The asteroid that's coming around.
It's only a few million miles off. Don't worry about it. Okay.
It's actually more coming.
Yeah. In 2 billion years.
So.
But would a case where someone was cliche, and let's say this guy, he parked the car over there, there's a guy in the shmira, everything's bad, nothing happens for a day, and then he moves it to a good place,
So it's
any type of, and then something happens.
No. So then then Pashas is off the hook. Yeah.
Moved it.
Yeah. Once he moves, he's off the hook, right? So that's for sure. Now,
In other words, he was masalik his ishmira.
Right.
He fixed
I think that the main tour that this guy would have, the shomer, is maybe based on last sugya, which is maybe he never became a shomer to begin with. Oh, you're going to the airport, you want to leave your car? No problem, leave your car here. But who said no problem, leave your car here makes me a shomer? Now, the difference between last cases, because we're not in an airport, I'm telling you, bring it to my property. And the guy put it into my driveway, gave me the keys. So once I say, yeah, leave it in my driveway, maybe that's already more shmira than the case we had before. So I think the main tour on the guy would not be out the coconut. I think the main tour would be that maybe he's not a shomer to begin with. If you're not a shomer to begin with, you're only chayiv on real pshi. You're not chayiv on tchilas of b'shiach sefer b'aynis. You're only chayiv if you really mazik the guy. So I think that may be the tour, but I think that would be a classical tchilas of b'shiach v'sefer b'aynis case that could be discussed. Now, there's one more case, which is the sheet. I only made copies in the booklet of Perek HaMafkid, because that's the main place where all the sugyas are. But there are sugyas that keep on coming up from other places. That's why I throw in here and there different Gemaras. But anyway, I put out copies of the Gemara. There. It's a Gemara in Sadi Gimel Menal from Bab Metzia. It's a Gevaldika case. Hahu Raya. There was a shepherd. It's Tzadi Gimel with Aleph on the bottom 2 blinds. To have a ka roi chiyusa aguda denar papa. He was shepherding animals on the banks of the Papa River. Sarig chadaminayu v'naflas lamaya. One of them slipped. Asla kamei de Rabba upatre. He came to Rabba. He parted to him. Amar my havalei lamevad. What should he do? Hanata kedenatri inchi. Didn't he do shmir the way which is normal to do? And therefore he's not chayiv. Fine. So Amr Abaye Elameata Allamasa Beidna Daili in chief. He took a lunch break and he went to the city. At a normal time that it's common for people to go. Hachanami the potter. Are you going to tell me he's potter? Amr in. Yeah, that's normal. Gana Porta Beidna the Ganu and she fell asleep at the time that it's normal to fall asleep. Hachanami the potter. Amr in. Eisve, someone asks a whole question that it's not true, right? So the Gemara basically says that back and forth, and the bottom line of the Gemara is that Shomer Sachar, we paskin, does not have the excuse of Nata Kedenatri Inchi. Shomer Sachar or shepherd, you're paying the guy, you can't go ahead and do those types of things. But Shomer Chinam can be Yoitse with Nata Kedenatri Inchi. So I want to just go down a little bit, about 5-6 lines.
Do with the type of shmira that they were makabel.
Yeah, because Shomer Sachar is makabel a lot more. I don't know if nowadays Shomer Sachar is so common. Where Shomer Sachar, because most people pay someone to watch your thing. But where Shomer Sachar is common is if it's part of something else. And if you have an office manager and you're paying them to do the office work, it could be included in that as the shmira of the items and stuff like that. Or you have an uman. someone that's hired to work in your house or work on a property.
And you also then get into Dina, whether or not the state requires you to give them breaks. Legally, they have to have breaks.
Yeah, but even if they can have a personal breaks, do they have to be maimed someone b'mkoimam and say, look, I'm leaving, will you take over now for the hour? I can't just leave it unmanned, I don't know. So Eisvei, it's a few lines down, second to last word on the line. Eisvei, Roya Shaya Roya v'iniach edrei ubal le'ir. So the Roya was shepherding, and he left the flock, and he came into the city. Ba ze'ev v'taraf ba ari v'daras. A lion or a ze'ev came and attacked the animals. Ein oimrim, we don't say ilu haya sham haya matzil. If you were there, you could have saved it. Im yachal lahatzlachai v'imlav potter. It depends. Could you have saved it or not? My love the all be'idna da'ili inshi. It must be that he went in a place at a time that he was supposed to go. Loy the all be'idna deloy ali inshi. Ihachi amai potter. Tchilas b'shiv sefer b'oines chayiv. The shama kol aryev all. So let me explain the Gemara outside because it's a little complicated. The Gemara here is talking about a case that a shepherd went into the city, and when he left to go to the city, at the time that he was away, a lion came and attacked a wolf came and attacked the sheep, and he was not there to cry wolf. So there's no boy to cry wolf. So he wasn't there. So is he chayiv or not? Is he chayiv? So the Gemara ends up basically saying that it depends. It depends on two factors. Number one, was he posheya or was he not posheya? If he left at the normal time, he's not posheya and he's off the hook. He was shomer the animal. When you ask, if you're only asking me to be a shomer chinam, means you're not willing to pay someone to do your shmira, then you're taking the risk that when the guy's going to go and take his break, he's not going to be foolproof. Then he's potter. But let's say he left at a time that he wasn't expected to leave, so he was posheya. Now that he was posheya, is he chayiv for the lion or not? So Zok the Gemara, it depends. If we could say that had he been there, he could have protected the animals, so then his pshia caused the thing to happen. But if he couldn't have protected the animals, even had he been there, so Mamela, Mamela is potter. So the shaila is tchilasa b'pshia v'soifai b'oines. He left, and now that he left, the animals came. So the answer is what we said before. At that point, we cannot connect the dots and say that the oinus happened because of the pshia. Because even had he not been poishea, the oinus would have happened. Because even if he was there and the lion came, what would he have done? He would have run away. Nothing changed. But if he was a type of lion or a type of wolf that he's trained in protecting.
Or the type of guards that have the guns.
Right, or maklev v'royim. So Mamela, the whole oinus only happened because of the pshia, and then he's going to be chayiv. Now, it happens to be off the topic. There's a Gemara in Daf Kuf Hey, or Kuvav maybe, in Bab Metzia, that the Gemara over there says that can the mafkid have a taina on the roya, and he could say, because there's the whole type of things over there, that one person could tie the other, that maybe, my schusim of tefillah would have worked, my schusim of this would have worked. So he says, what do you mean? I have so much confidence in you, my dear roya. Why do you think I hired you? You're such a high-level person. You're such a chosh of a guy that I knew that had you been there, Hashem would have made a nace for you. And Mamela, like David HaMelech, you find David HaMelech was able to fight off even the greatest lions. You, my dear Roya, you're like the level of David HaMelech. Why can't I assumed that's why I hired you. You could be there, and Hashem would have protected you. And Mamela, it is your pshia.
And now you know for free.
And Mamela, is that a good taina? So the Gemara says the Roya could taina back. My dear owner, you're such a tzaddik that Hashem should have saved it from you to happen in the first place. Right? So Mamela, he says, the Gemara says he doesn't have that taina. But the Gemara here is not focusing on that part of it. So Al Kopanim, here's a third Gemara that you see the same Yesod. That we paskin tchilasa b'pshia v'soifa b'oines is chayiv, but we have two Gemaras now proving the same point. That's only true when you can connect the oines to the pshia. The first Gemara that we have to prove that is the Gemara by Malchamav es Mali Hacham Mali Hasam, that he's Pashabav Yatza La'agam, and the animal was, you were Pasha, the animal went to a place and died, but we say Malchamav es Mali Hacham Mali Hasam. That's case number one. Case number two is this case that that since the roya could not have protected the animals anyway, so since even if he's pasha and he left at the wrong time, he would be chai, he would be potter because it has nothing to do with the oinus. These are the cases that the Gemara directly speaks about. Three sugyas, and next week in Mitzvah Hashem we'll get into we'll start seeing Shulchan Aruch and see how it plays out. But these are the sugyas and the sugyas that came out. All the Rishonim basically agree to this point. About the last point, by the way, the Ravid does pass like that. The Ravid does say that the mafkid can say, had you been there, you could have, you don't know your own koiches, you don't know your own strengths, he's a good mashgiach, and he could have said, L'maisa, you don't know your own koiches, you could have protected the animals had you been there, and therefore the Ravid actually is machayev, but the Rambam and the Rif and the Rosh don't, and therefore we paskin that like we said, Pashtus in the Gemara, that since Pashtus he could not have protected the animals, it's an oinus which is not b'machmas the pshia.
So it becomes a very subjective machlokes. That you yourself, we believe that you have the fortitude to do it, but Yanin, doesn't.
What's pshat in the Ravid, you mean?
Yeah.
The Ravid is a chiddush.
The Ravid's going with the whole thing about the neshamas and the animals and
Right.
that.
I mean, the Olam knows, right, that Rav Melech Biederman made famous before Rosh Hashanah. That it's talking about in that sugya. It's a Gavaldik Rashi and Bamitzia that the case was that I hired a guy to plant wheat, and he ended up planting barley. The barley failed, but the wheat, there was a makkah of wheat in the whole country. So the guy says, look, I was Mishana, I planted barley, but it makes no difference, because had I planted wheat, it would have been destroyed anyway, because there was a makkah's medina on the wheat. And the Gemara says you're chayiv, and we pass in Chosh Mishpat, you're chayiv, because the guy could have a taina, and the way Rashi learns the taina, he says, what do you mean? On Rosh Hashanah, I davened for Hatzlacha in my wheat.
Right. And
since I davened in Hatzlacha for my wheat, Hashem would have given me Hatzlacha in wheat. You went in and planted barley, so my tefillos were not accepted. And Memela, v'tigzar oimer v'yakim lach, Rashi says. Where a person davens for something, it's mekubal, and that's a tefillah in Chosh Mishpat. That if he davened for Hatzlacha in this, and the other guy was Mishana, even though there was a Makkah's Medina, he could still be Teved. He davened for Hatzlacha for wheat.
I'm saying the guy that Maisa davened for Hatzlacha in the fields.
Maybe you have to see how the person can bring it down. You have to see how the person can bring it down. But the case was that he davened for Hatzlacha in the wheat, and that taka is brought down. You have to know how that shtims with all the Musar shmuz, and you're not supposed to daven for your own things on Rosh Hashanah, but that's a separate discussion. Okay.
The guy not plant barley.
What?
The guy down for Hatzlacha in the wheat.
Right, that's like the other. That's like the other shmuz, right?
I'm feeling the Chosh Mishpat is not going to.
It is Rashi. Rashi Bamitzia Daf Kuf.
That's what halacha l'maisa is machayah.
Yeah, Chosh Mishpat.